Hello everybody. So today this is our second session on polymers. In our last session we discussed about the various classifications of the polymers. This session also we are continuing with the remaining few classifications, and also let us discuss on the various advantages of the polymers over the normal pharmaceutical excipients for the development of drug delivery systems. The next classification is classification based on symmetry of the polymer. Based upon the symmetry of the polymer, they are classified into three: isotactic, syntiotic, and atactic polymers. That is, the asymmetric carbon atoms are arranged in the polymer structure. So, based upon the arrangement of asymmetric carbon atoms in the polymer structure, these classifications are made. Let us see one by one. What is isotactic polymers? The isotactic polymers contain the same configuration of all the groups. Remember the first word, they contain the same configuration for all the groups. Arranged around the asymmetric carbon atom in a single unit of polymers. All the repeating units have either levo or dextro configurations. And these polymers are very compact, ordered, crystalline, and highly stable. So these are the characteristics of isotactic polymers. So first of all, they contain the same configuration around or configuration of asymmetric carbon atoms around the polymer chain. And secondly, they are very much ordered. They are having a crystalline structure and are highly stable. Let us see the structure of the isotactic. The first one is the structure of isotactic. So where you can see the polymer chain, you can see the polymer chain here. Sorry for the the polymer chain, and there is similar arrangement of asymmetric carbon atoms in the polymer chain. The first one is the isotactic, whereas if you look into the second one, that is the syntiotic, there is the arrangements are being different. How it is different? In case of syntiotic polymers, the definite contains a definite configuration of each repeating polymers. It is the asymmetric carbon atoms in each repeating units contain a configuration that is changed at regular intervals. So the asymmetric carbon atoms are being changed at a regular intervals. So for example, alternatively arranged repeating units of the polymer show the same configuration. These show intermediate level of compactness and the stability. That is intermediate arrangement of the monomer with the polymer chain. So such intermediate arrangement of the carbon result in the syntiotic polymers. So but compared with the isotactic polymers, syntiotic polymers, they are of less stable and having a less level of compactness. That is the main characteristics. Whereas in the case of the isotactic polymers, the molecules were very compact, crystalline structure and were highly stable, where these properties are little bit less in the case of syntiotic polymers. The last one is the attractive polymers. Attractive polymers is just opposite is the case, where there is no way the regular arrangement of the asymmetric carbon atoms with the polymer chain. So the polymer chains are there, some asymmetric carbon atoms are arranged because there is no repetitive units we cannot observe in this there, and there is no regular arrangement of asymmetric carbon atoms are not there in the attractive polymers. So as a result, these polymers has been less stable, less compact, and less crystalline in nature. So these are the classification of polymers based upon their structure. Okay, let us see the next classification, that is based upon the physical properties polymers are classified as rubber, plastic, and fibers. We have another two more classifications. These two classifications are much familiar for you. That is the classified as rubber, plastics, and the fibers based upon their physical properties. So these are rubbers. These are also known as the elastomers and the amorphous high molecular weight polymers which possess very low glass transition temperature. So the first point highlights that the rubbers they are having the molecular weight is higher, at the same time they are having a low glass transition temperature. They are highly elastic nature and show very high and reversible elongation upon application of even a small force. So they are elastic in nature and they possess low mechanical strength due to weaker inter and intramolecular forces of attraction. As a result, they are easily deformed even at a low temperature when some forces are applied. So this is nothing much into this rubbers. So keep these few points in mind, that of having the high molecular weight, low glass transition temperature, and they are highly elastic in nature, and they show low molecular mechanical strength due to the inter and intermolecular forces of attraction. So that is about the rubber. Then plastics, they are stronger than rubbers but less elastic due to high inter and intermolecular forces. Just opposite was the case of the rubbers, and they having a glass transition temperature above the room temperature and are crystalline in nature, whereas rubbers they are having the glass transition temperature below the room temperature, and whereas in the case of plastics these glass transition temperatures are higher than that of the room temperature. They are higher than that of the rubbers, and they are crystalline in nature. They can be processed easily compared to elastomers and can be recycled and reused. So you may not be aware about the glass transition temperature. In the next class we'll be discussing on the properties. In the next session, properties of polymers, there we will discuss more about what is glass transition temperature and what is its importance. The next one is the fibers. They are linear, highly symmetric, high molecular weight, crystalline, and strongest among these three types of polymers. They possess a glass transition temperature that is higher than the room temperature. Example is polyethylene, terephthalate, nylon 6, etc. The last one is based upon the thermal response. They are classified as thermoplastics and thermosetting polymers. Thermoplastic polymers. These polymers flow when heated at a specific pressure. These polymers flow when heated at a specific pressure, taking care that the temperature of heating is below the temperature of decomposition of the polymer. The temperature of heating is below the temperature of the decomposition of the polymer. They do not undergo any change in their properties upon heating and can withstand several cycles of heating and cooling. They form dimensional hard material upon cooling. Examples are polypropylene, polyethylene, etc. So these are the polymers which flows when heated at a higher temperature, and they do not undergo any changes upon heating and can be withstand several cycles of heating and as well as cooling. So that is the thermoplastics. And last one is the thermosetting polymers. These polymers show chemical change upon heating in the presence of high radiations. Thus they form a stable mass upon heating that is different from the original polymer. So these polymers and on heating at a higher temperature they undergo the chemical changes, and they are stable upon heating stable upon heating that is different from the original polymer. That means from the original polymer, once if you are heated, that undergo chemical reaction and a chemical conversion happens. Once it is converted, that form is stable, that is not coming back into the original form after cooling. After cooling also they are keep remaining in the original state. So that we call it as the thermosetting polymers. So this you have studied in your lower classes. So the last topic for today is the various advantages of your polymers. So they provide, so listen to this point, this is the most important point, that is they provide a diversity of chemical and physical characteristics. So we studied various types of classifications now. These are only the types. Under each type, there are n number of polymers, and many of these polymers are very important or much suitable for developing our controlled release drug delivery system. Now, how it becomes suitable for developing a controlled release drug delivery system, or why it is suitable, why these polymers are suitable, why these polymers are having more advantage than normal excipient. So polymers are excipients only, but normal excipient, suppose if you consider a starch is an excipient, even it is having the polymers developed from the starch or cellulose are there, natural polymers are there. But if you consider a polymer is having a diversified chemical and physical characteristics, and the desired properties can be obtained by altering the physical properties of the polymers by changing the molecular weight and type of monomer structure. Suppose a particular polymer that we are dealing with the control release. If you consider a polymer as natural polymer as cellulose, you just assume this as an example. Cellulose is a natural polymer which is used for development of drug delivery system. Now our purpose is to develop a controlled release drug delivery system by using cellulose. Cellulose as a molecule, as a polymer, can extend the drug release maximum up to assume as 1 hour. So cellulose as a polymer, now converting the cellulose by changing the physical and chemical properties of cellulose, as well as by changing the molecular weight and by adding other monomer structure to the cellulose. So we have a definite cellulose. We are doing certain things. First thing is we are changing the physical chemical property of cellulose, or changing the molecular weight of cellulose. How we are changing? By adding certain monomer structure into this particular cellulose. So by adding monomer structure means this addition happens by means of what? By means of polymerization. So we have a cellulose, we have a monomer. This monomer units are being attached to the main chain of your cellulose. This is a continuous process that we call it as a polymerization. So at the end of this stage, we are getting a polymer with entirely different characteristics of cellulose. Cellulose having a characteristics of extending the drug release of a for 1 hour means once we polymerized with a different monomer, it may be having the property to extend the drug release after 10 hours also. That means it changes its physical property, it changes its chemical structure by addition of various monomers. Addition of various monomers result in changing the molecular weight. Finally, the entire structure of the cellulose itself has changed at the end of the polymerization. So this polymerization technique helps in altering the physical chemical properties of a polymer. Now, what is the advantage here? We can develop the desired property. We can develop a polymer with a desired property. Suppose I want an extension of the drug for more than 24 hours. So if I require a drug release for 24 hours, that is my requirement. Based on my requirement, I can incorporate different types of monomers. Either I can incorporate monomer A with the cellulose. At the same time, I can incorporate both A and B, or I can add another one more monomer as Z, A, B, Z monomer with the cellulose. So A, B and Z, these monomers are having different properties. The property of B is different from property of A, which is again different from property of Z. The combination of A, B, and Z monomers into the main polymeric chain of cellulose, at the end the resultant polymer will have the combination of all these three, and entirely it will have a much more varied physical or the chemical property combined with its mother polymer or the polymer chain as the cellulose. So in this way we can attain the desired physical or the chemical property. We can develop a polymer with a desired physical as well as chemical property. So this is the main advantage of your polymer. The majority of polymers can be easily functionalized by pre-polymerization or post-polymerization method, in which some functional groups are added to the structure of the polymer. So apart from addition of the monomer and undergoing various polymerization long process, some functional group of any of the polymer can also be attached to the polymer as a part of pre-polymerization or post-polymerization. That is, before developing a polymer or even after developing a polymer, some particular functional groups can be attached with the polymer to get a desired effect. Therefore, the options in terms of polymer architecture, polymer chemical structure, polymer modification are of very wide range, which offers almost an infinite number of possible applications for the smart materials. The water solubility of polymeric material can be manipulated by increasing their chain length or by hydrophilizing or hydrophobizing them with the copolymers. That means the physical property like hydrophilic property or hydrophobic property can be altered by addition of certain copolymers. Now, all of these factors lead to a wide and diverse range of application of the polymers in the pharmaceutical industry, which can serve as what are the applications now. The final applications will again meet in the later next classes, but this can result in each polymer can be utilized as a binder in the tablet dosage form, flow and viscosity controlling agents in the liquid dosage forms, used in tablet as coating material, then to mask unpleasant drug taste, modify the drug release characteristics, and to enhance the stability of the drug molecule. So these are the broader applications of our polymers. And polymeric material, when formulated as micellase, can enable and enhances the administration of hydrophobic drug. Once this polymeric material are formulated as micellase, can enhances the administration of hydrophobic drug. Enhances the administration of hydrophobic drug means what? It enhances the solubility. What is the efficiency of the hydrophobic drug? The hydrophobic drug may have a lesser solubility. So thus this addition of polymers also helps in enhancement of solubility, thereby it helps in development of the hydrophobic drugs into a suitable drug delivery system. Okay, so that's all the various advantages of your polymers. So far we have discussed the classification of polymers and the advantages of polymers. In the next session we'll discuss on the properties of the various polymers and finally its applications. Okay, so that's all for today. So listen carefully, then thank you.